Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Mike. Welcome back to my channel. And I'm sitting here on a very chilly night. It's 43 degrees outside, and it feels like it's about 20 degrees in my house. I'm freezing. I don't know why that is, but maybe it's because it's an old broken down house. And I'm sitting here with my old broken down body, trying to wear two shirts and keep warm. I'm also drinking hot chocolate mixed up with cream de mint, which is a great combination. So if my lips are turning green, that's the reason. Stuff is good. All right, I'm here to do a top 5 in response to a top 10 video that was introduced by my good friend James Higgins, DVD collector 1974. He's trying to bring back top 10 lists. I think it's top 10 Tuesday, I guess. Well, today is Sunday, but I'm just now getting around to responding. So he did a video talking about the top 10 horror movie sequels, okay? And he said anybody could jump in. If you can't come up with 10, just do top 5. So that's what I'm going to do here. Top 5, sort of top 5.5. So anyway, here goes. First one. Since I love the old Universal films, I'm going to talk about some of those. Starting off with the enduring classic Frankenstein, 1931, directed by James Whale. An expressionistic, deadly serious film. And its sequel, which came out in 1935, The Bride of Frankenstein, also directed by James Whale, brings back Boris Karloff with the incredible addition of Elsa Lanchester as the bride. Now, a lot of people think that The Bride of Frankenstein is actually superior to Frankenstein. And I don't feel that way. I have a deep love for this movie. But I love this one as well. I think they are absolutely equal in quality. This one, as I said before, is deadly serious, but this one has serious moments, but it also has great comedic touches and artistic flourishes, and you just can't go wrong with Elsa Lanchester dressed up as the Bride Frankenstein. It's just too much. So highly recommended, both of them. But one of the best sequels ever put out for a movie. All right, next. Also from 1931, the classic Dracula, Bela Lugosi, directed by Todd Browning. And its first sequel in 1936, we find out that Dracula had a daughter, right? And it's a beautiful film, very different than Dracula. The woman in this, played by Gloria Holden, a woman named Countess Maria Zaleska, or Zaleska, one of the two. Yeah, Zaleska, I think. Who teaches us that vampirism is something that might be able to be conquered through therapy, right? By facing one's demons and all this sort of thing. So it's very strange how the whole thing plays out, but it's a beautiful film. Gloria Holden was very good in this movie, and it has a lot of classic moments, like the one where she seems to be getting very attracted to this young girl played by Nan Gray, and it's sort of a homoerotic exchange between the two. Of course, back in 1936, you couldn't get much homoeroticism on the screen, but it's a very powerful moment. But this is a very, very good film, and as if that weren't enough, we find out 7 years down the road in 1943 that not only did Dracula have a daughter, he also had a son, right? So we have Son of Dracula, starring Lon Chaney. And by this time, Lon Chaney had played Frankenstein, he had played the Wolfman, and he had also done one of the Mummy films. And now they wanted to turn him into Dracula. So the title Son of Dracula is quite misleading, because it turns out that it's not his son, it's actually Dracula himself. And as portrayed by Lon Chaney Jr., he's not, well, he's nothing like Bela Lugosi. He's not even anything like Gloria Holden. There's nothing scary about the guy. And yet I love this film. It's a great sequel to Dracula and Dracula's Daughter. And it's always been one of my very favorite films for the atmosphere, the deadly serious tone of it. And I think Lon Chaney gives it a very serious attempt in trying to get sort of take on the Dracula persona. I'm not so sure he succeeds, but it's a very good film. This was the first Universal horror film that I remember seeing and was on television way back around 1959 or 1960. It's always had a big, big impression on me, and I love it today. So that's that. And staying with the Universal films, we have the Boris Karloff classic version of The Mummy, 1932, and its first sequel came in 1940, a film called The Mummy's Hand, which completely different than the Boris Karloff film. But I actually love that sequel almost as much as the original. And the Mummy is given a different name. And in the original film, he was called Imhotep, and this one he's called Kharis, and that's what he's called for the rest of the films in the Universal series. Played by an action star, Western action actor. Sorry. Too much cream to mint. It will do this to you. An actor named Tom Tyler played the Mummy, and he was terrific, really terrific. We have people like Dick Foran, Wallace Ford. Let's see, who else is in this? I think Eduardo Sionelli is in this movie. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it. Peggy Moran was the very beautiful and energetic female lead, and it just has a lot of great moments in it. I think it's every bit as good as The Mummy, although it's very, very different. Okay, now in the 1960s, an Italian director named Riccardo Freda made a little sort of an homage to the films of Alfred Hitchcock. It was called The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock. Okay, starring beautiful Barbara Steele, co-starring with a distinguished English actor named Robert Fleming, and a nice little colorful film all about necrophilia. Mr. Hitchcock, Dr. Hitchcock actually, played by Fleming, is a man who is a very respected physician, but he also is a necrophile, and he likes to go home and take anesthetic from his medical office and use it on his wife to make her seem like she's dead, because that's what turns him on. And one night he gives her way too much and she actually dies, which doesn't turn him on, surprisingly. So 12 years later, he comes back with a beautiful young bride played by Barbara, and she finds herself caught up in this very strange situation because Dr. Hitchcock seems to be getting his old desires back, right? Well, so this was in 1962, and the following year, Freda made sort of like a sequel, but really not so much a sequel as a follow-up with Barbara Steele, and it's called The Ghost, sometimes known as the Spectre of Dr. Hitchcock in its Italian form, Lo Spettro. And in this one, she plays the original. Well, anyway, she plays a character named Margaret Hitchcock, who was the name of the wife in this one, the first wife who had died. So I don't know why they did that, but there's still a Dr. Hitchcock. They bring back the same housekeeper from the original film, played by Harriet White, although they give her a different name. So a lot of the details are quite different in this one, and they're both very exciting films. This one is much more moody and dark, and Barbara really suffers in this one. Not quite as intensely delirious as the original Dr. Hitchcock. This is a very, very good film, and in both of these films, there is nothing supernatural going on. Everything is filled with this gothic atmosphere and mystery, but it's all explainable in completely normal human terms, okay? Which is the way it was with the early Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe films and American International. They had this great gothic ambiance and beautiful atmosphere, and everything was very scary and intense, but there was nothing really supernatural going on. You thought people were rising from the dead, but they really weren't. Okay, now getting on to the classic film Ju-on, called The Grudge in English, and its sequel. I haven't watched these in quite a while, so I don't remember a lot of details. So I remember this weird kid, and I remember the girl with the long black hair who was scaring everybody to death. I need to watch these again because these are terrific films. The sequel is almost, well, I would say every bit as exciting as the first one, and I absolutely love it. I love both of them. And even the American remakes with Sarah Michelle Gellar were fantastic, very well done, a lot like the original Japanese films. And again, I don't remember a lot of the details because I haven't watched them in a while, but the Grudge 2 was every bit as exciting as the Grudge 1. So if you haven't seen these, check them out. And that is my top 5, sort of top 5.5. Comments are welcome. Take care, folks.